Now, this is my new favorite episode. It's why I have enjoyed The Mandalorian. It's why Deborah Chow is perfect for director of the Obi-Wan series. Greetings, citizens of the galaxy. Welcome to Swtor Gaming.
Welcome.
I believe the Force has guided you to me.
Who we truly are is defined by our actions.
Welcome, everyone. This is Swtor Gaming, also known as Mannix, the Mandalorian, bringing to my thoughts on yet another chapter of The Mandalorian, Chapter 7, The Reckoning. So far, I have to say that Deborah Chow has killed it, is doing a great job on this chapter as well as Chapter 3, The Sin. This is why we should all be excited for her upcoming Obi-Wan series. Without further ado, let's get into it. In this episode, Mando receives a message from Greef Karga. He finds out that the town where the Bounty Brokers Association pretty much operates of is being overrun by the imps, led by the client who's desperate to recover the child. Karga states that they should use the child as bait in order to kill the client and free the town. In return, he'll pretty much have a clean slate for the child and the Mandalorian, and they'll be able to leave a free life. He'll remove bounties off their head. Mando, sensing it's a trap, he recruits Cara Dune, the ex-Imperial shock trooper, and goes back to recruit Kuiil, the Ugnaught we met in the first episode. To his surprise, when he's sitting down with Kuiil asks him if he wants some tea, and IG-11 comes in, and first thing he says, first thing he does is raise his blaster, and the Ugnaught, Kuiil says, no, lower your blasters, I have spoke, which is still one of my favorite catchphrases, which I'm hoping at least when Deborah Chow does her own series that they'll become catchphrases. I've enjoyed the little tidbits we've gotten, little things to get excited to go viral from this series. So you find out, to no one's surprise, that Kuiil found and scavenged the town after IG-11 and the Mandalorian shot up everybody. And he found out IG-11, rebuilt it, had to retrain it, just like a child, to walk and everything like that. And he's also been programmed for defense, but he's been reprogrammed. Mandalorian still doesn't trust him, and with good reason. I mean, there could be a subroutine that's hidden in case a situation like this happened. And who knows, maybe that's what happened I think towards the end. It could be a possibility that had something to do with it, but we don't know yet. I will get to that when I get to it. So it's been rebuilt, reprogrammed to protect, and so the group, including Kuiil's blurgs, which that cracked me up. He's like, I will bring my blurgs. He's like, I don't think I have spoken, which cracked me up a little bit. Well, so when they arrive on Navarro, that's the name of the planet, they meet Greef Karga and some of his associates, which I'm guessing they're probably a couple of bounty hunters from the guild. But when they camp overnight, they're attacked by some Minox. Karga's injured. They sliced. It was pretty crazy. You see a night scene, and they did a better job. I mean, the night scene on Tatooine was pretty terrible as far as the lighting goes. You could barely make out some things. They did a better job this time with lighting a fire to have natural effects you could see. So it was pretty, it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys ever played the Capcom game Dragon something, where if you don't have a lantern on you, it's really dark. It's like pitch black, and you see these flying monsters that come to get you. But if you have a little bit of lantern, you can make out just a little bit. So it was really, really well shot. It attacks one of the blurgs, one of the Minox picks it up and leaves. Cara Dune starts taking out her a repeater cannon and starts shooting up everything. It was pretty well done. I really enjoyed it. The Mandalorian starts to get picked up, and he turns on his flamethrower and burns one of the Minox, and they eventually go away. But in the scuffle, we find that Greef Karga's forearm has been slashed by one of the Talons, and we find out that Minox Talons have poison, which I didn't know. I mean, we see a little bit of Minox, I think, first in A New Hope. Or at that time, just Star Wars. No, not A New Hope. I believe it's in Empire Strikes Back. And that's it. It's an Empire. And the poison is spreading. So I guess when I was watching this, I was assuming that they were getting ready to cut off his forearm so it doesn't spread out to the rest of his arm, and then just eventually kill him. Then the child waddles over, puts his hand, and uses the Force and heals him. Removes poison and everything. It was interesting the way they did. So all three of them they go to town, they see how densely populated it is with Imperial stormtroopers. They enter the town, they have two scout troopers just waiting. They want to check his ID. I think they call it slave code or whatever, something like that. His ID, because now everyone, even though this was Greef Karga's town, it shows how just that little thing shows how the Empire's taken over. He's no longer is the most important guy in this town. He's just a regular. If the guy who used to own the town is now just being hassled like that, shows that he has no power in this town. Which is little things like that, again, give you a little bit more, and that you can tell stories with just a small thing, and this is what Deborah Chow excels at. So they go and they meet in front of the client, and he loosens one of the binders, one of the Star Wars version of handcuffs, and gets, I think, Greef Karga or Kara hands him his blaster, and he's about to shoot him, and all of a sudden he gets a call. Before that, they were going to have stormtroopers show him the child to make sure he's in there, but the child's not in there. He gets a call from Moff Gideon, and Moff Gideon's troopers start shooting up that have surrounded the building, start shooting up the building. You see through the cracks that it's Death Troopers, and Death Troopers are the most elite, most scariest. We saw them first in Rogue One, but we find out in the Thrawn novels, if you ever read them, how deadly they are. They are like the Navy SEALs of stormtroopers, like elite. And so they're outside the building. We see troop transport come out, and just stormtroopers are pouring out of there. They've surrounded the building. You've got Greef Karga, Mando, and Kara in there, bunkered down, and he repeats on his communicator, says, look, run back to the ship right now. Just take the child, go back to the ship, and activate the automated defenses. And he takes off on his blurg, but the message got intercepted by the scout troopers, so they go right on their speeders, and we're watching while Moff Gideon it was beautiful the way this was done. He's giving a speech, played by Giancarlo Esposito. He's coming off. He arrives in this. It's a grand entrance. It reminded me of what happened in Rebels, which is something that, of course, because Dave Filoni's involved, it's something he probably wanted to do. If you remember when Darth Vader was fighting Ahsoka Tano in Twilight Apprentice, he arrived floating down on his TIE Defender. Well, the TIE Fighter, which is a different one because the wings fold to the side, almost like it almost looks like the inverted version of like the new. Almost looks like a TIE Defender, almost, with the TIE Defender project that we saw in Rebels as well. So it goes all the way down, and Moff Gideon pops up and he explains that you have something I need, and I will get it soon. There was no question, there was no hesitation. I'm getting it. And if we know anything about Imperial Moffs and Grand Admirals from either the expanded universe or just canon, is that the way Palpatine had his structure is that he had it just like the original Sith Empire. Instead of having many Sith, having them in this cutthroat environment, he had his Moffs and Grand Admirals in that such a way where there was a lot of infighting and political maneuvering, just like there was in the ancient Sith Empire. But the difference is that since none of them were Force sensitive, they were not strong enough to challenge the rule of the Emperor. So he still had that Sith culture going on, but amongst his Imperial Moffs and Grand Moffs. So you could tell that most of them that arrived to the level of Moff had to be very shrewd, very cruel, very calculating. So while this is going on, we're hearing him give his kind of speech. I will get the child, and last thing we see is the scout troopers racing off, and we're saying Quill, going just racing off on his blurg. And then we see Quill lying, seemingly dead, and the child is missing. The wrapping that the child had around him, like the blanket, is on the floor, and Quill's on the floor, seemingly lying dead, and the child's gone, and it says, "To be continued." I gotta tell you, this is awesome. This is probably by far one of the best episodes, and she managed to connect. Deborah Chow managed to connect everything from the original. From the beginning, first episodes, and it's connected everything in one episode. So, I can't wait to see the last one. I'm very excited today because this evening, I will be seeing The Rise of Skywalker. And I'll let you know my thoughts about that. So that's one episode down. Now I want to talk about a couple things, little highlights of it. Again, seeing IG-11 was great. I knew he would be back. I had an intuition. But one of the biggest things too was when Cara Dune, as they're riding to Navarro, flying to Navarro via the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian ship, Cara Dune, the Shock Troop, and the Mando are arm wrestling. Just a pastime. And the child sees him struggling and begins to force choke Cara Dune. That's the first time we've seen the child do something evil, but it's a child. It made sense because, it's still learning. So he thought the Mandalorian was in danger. He just fell through the force. He was struggling, and then Mandalorian goes, no, she's a friend. Just let go. And the way Cara Dune reacted was fantastic. No, that's not okay. What the hell? That is not okay. She understands, but the power that little creature has, is awesome and terrifying, which is what the Force is. And I could go into a really deep exposition on the Force and why, I really could go, but our state of fandom, which I'm going to do a state of fandom video, which may not get many likes, may not have a lot of people, but I have to have my say as well, which I will do in a different video because it's already long enough. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think in the comments below if you really enjoyed this as much as I did, and how excited are you for Rise of Skywalker and Obi-Wan series, mostly the Obi-Wan series. Please do not post any spoilers, although I've already probably seen it, but for everyone else that is going to watch the movie who hasn't gotten yet to see the movie, let's respect our fellow fans. All right, we got one episode left and season 1 is done, son. I'm gonna watch them all. I'm just gonna binge watch them after they're done, and then come up with, see how it flows together as a series. Whether it's clunky or not, I'll give a whole series review, and that'll be the last one. Just want to give a heads up, I may not be doing series reviews for season 2. You guys let me know if you've enjoyed them. They've been very difficult to make for me and not have a lot of time to do them as much, and I don't think I've been getting a lot of views from them. So we'll see what goes on. If you guys have been enjoying them, let me know in the comments below, because that helps me, decide what you guys want to watch. And because I don't want to continue putting a lot of effort in something that not a lot of people are interested in. And I honestly don't get them out on time as much as I could because I have a full-time job. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and may the Force you will further your destiny always.